Hello, everybody. I am 13, and after Kess went poorly, I was still like, I want to play a Dead of Winter deck, and I figured Black Devotion was probably the best way to go about this. So we're going to be playing a little bit of a more controlly twist on this, as I'm sure nobody is surprised by. I always try to add a little bit more control to my decks than there needs to be, but this is a fair deck, and I'm not sure how well it's going to do, but I guess we'll take a look. So, first and foremost, this is a Phyrexian Obliterator deck. Phyrexian Obliterator is a very fun, I'm quoting here, casual card. The casualness of this is the fact that it costs 4 black, which is really hard to splash for. It has a really cool, unique effect to it. Funny enough, it's a horror, so it gets around Thing in the Ice. But yeah, basically you land a Phyrexian Obliterator, and it's really hard for your opponent to deal with. They have to kill you in an unfair way at that point, otherwise you're pretty much going to take over. But we need Black Devotion for this deck to work, so we're running Liliana of the Vel, Liliana Last Hope, both very powerful cards with multiple blacks in their mana cost. Then hopefully we're actually going to win the game with Gary. So Gary is Grey Merchant's nickname. When it enters, each opponent loses X life, where X is your devotion to black. Devotion, because it is our primary mechanic, I'm going to take 1 second to explain. It's the number of black costs in permanents you control. So if we have all these permanents on the battlefield, we're getting 4 black devotion from Phyrexian Obliterator, 2 from Lily of the Vel, and 2 from Gary. So we're going to drain the opponent for 8 life. That is very backbreaking for a lot of decks, and if we have a Phyrexian Obliterator on the field, we're basically going to win from there. On top of that, though, we are going to be running the Dead of Winter package that I was hoping would work for Kess. We have all basic snows, so hopefully we're going to be able to just nuke the board, 3 mana board clear. Then we're going to be running Scrying Sheets as an additional way to draw cards. Mono black can draw cards. It usually costs a lot of life, but we're hopefully just going to be able to filter some of the lands off the top of our deck. Then we do get to run the new Plague Engineer. It's only 1 devotion, but it is still a 2/2 Death Touch that can just obliterate some matchups, likely coming out into the board in most games. Then the main reason I wanted to run this today is because we get to run main board Leyline of the Void. So if we're looking at the day 2 metagame breakdown from GP Dallas that happened 3 days ago, it looks like 18% of the meta was Hogak, 18.6, and then 14.1% was Phoenix. So that ends up adding up to be about 33% of the meta is a graveyard deck. So not only does this add to our devotion, but it allows us to actually just cheese all those graveyard strategies out. We have Liliana of the Vel and Collective Brutality to discard extras. Then Nykthos will allow us to get us a lot of mana. Makes it really easy to cast a Phyrexian Obliterator. With a Phyrexian Obliterator, we get a ton of mana. Phyrexian Arena is a good way to draw cards in the grindier matchups. Also adds 2 Black Devotion, and yeah, that's pretty much the deck. So let's go ahead and hop into a queue. This deck has kind of been around. Some people are familiar with it. Main copies of this will end up running cards like Gatekeeper of Malakir. That should pull up. So you can end up paying 3 black to get a 2/2 and make your opponent sack a creature. Some of them run Bloodghast because it's just a free card to get back, but we're not running fetch lands. We're trying to do like a little bit of a snow sub-theme, and really want to see how this goes down. Alright, looks like the overlay is actually still the old one. Let's get that updated. Perfect. Although, super, super bad resolution. Alright. There we are. We're going to play first. So, slightly awkward hand here. Plague Engineer is kind of a sideboard tech. We do have a board clear and a Planeswalker. We're probably going to draw a basic land before too long, and Leyline gives us 2 devotion right off the bat. Drawing into a Nykthos is probably our best draw here. House Stamir. If you can take anything from their player icon, they're probably playing some variant of control. Love to start with Leyline on the field. And what's funny is Leyline in game 1 makes you look like Hogak, but Snow-Covered Swamp does not. Alright, so opponent's doing something fair. It's either Taxes or a Devoted Druid combo, but Dead of Winter is looking pretty good. Plague Engineer on Human or Druid is likely going to be relevant. That's an Obliterator, just looking for a land. Giver of Runes has been performing pretty well. Like, it's not a mom, but the 2 toughness and the colorless is actually super relevant. That's a Devoted Druid. So if we don't draw our land, our opponent can just straight up kill us here. That's an Inquisition. That might buy us a turn. If we can take the Vizier out, we're good. Alright, so they get a look for the Druid and then play it. Or the Vizier. That's unique. I think that's a new effect. So they're going to cast the Incubation, looking for Vizier, make their land drop, hopefully Vizier, Infinite combo, but then they still don't have a payoff yet unless they drew into one. They did find it. Gonna F6 if opponent shows me a payoff that can win the game. Happy to scoop. Nope, just a birds. Land Dead of Winter. I don't ask for a lot, deck, but this is it. Oh boy. Alright. We have 22 lands. Should not be that hard to find one. Alright, opponent's running out their hand. Not afraid of all of the board clear. I want a land. Yep, there we go. Then Lily should put this game into check at that point. This might even be a concession. They might want to figure out what we're doing. We've only shown 3 cards that aren't insanely relevant. Going to Exile is actually kind of relevant for the new Green Finale and Ewit. Another Dead of Winter. Lovely. Alright, well, Plague Engineer's not really doing us any favors. I'd prefer to tick up because getting to Ultimate can take away a lot of their lands here. They potentially have big payoff cards like Chord or the Green Finale or just a Walking Ballista, and being able to get rid of 3 lands is really going to help on that regard. Plus, minusing twice is actually kind of a big deal. But we play Mono Black Devotion because we want to play Phyrexian Obliterator. And it looks like we might get there. Nope, okay. Well, opponent's board clear definitely ate it there. Force of Despair, pretty good versus Coco. Knight Soul's Betrayal will kill Vizier, as well as all the mana dorks. Although being 4 mana is quite hard, but Knight Soul's Betrayal with a Plague Engineer can actually remove even Devoted Druid, so I'm willing to give that a shot. What do I not care about? Gifted Aetherborn's not the best, just because we won't care about our life total getting comboed out. Pithing Needle can name Devoted Druid. Otherwise, like, everything here is pretty great. Maybe just trim on a Grey Merchant. We're going to win the long game if we can get to it. Oh, should have taken out Leyline of the Voids. I'm bad at this. Extirpate can actually snag something, and Aetherborn's better than Leylines. Ashiok is actually fantastic. Turns off Chord of Calling. Okay, that's actually better. I can't believe I completely missed the Leylines. Hero's Downfall would have also been acceptable, just targeted removal. We are currently up a game and do not have Arya's terrible record. Wow, not a single black source. We have 4 lands that don't tap for mana, black mana, and we just happen to find all of them. This is a little bit better. So I'm probably tucking the Extirpate here. Either that or I can Inquisition and then Extirpate take part of the combo. That might be fine. I can find a better payoff than Ashiok. Alright, fourth land is not awful. We do need a lot for our deck to function. Voice of Zendikar, Duskwatch Recruiter, Finale. So I can dismember the Duskwatch Recruiter. They have to get to 4 mana before Finale matters. I don't actually have a good way to deal with Nissa. I took out the Gifted Aetherborn, so I think I'm just taking the Planeswalker because it's the hardest for me to actually deal with, and I am a control list. Duskwatch Recruiter honestly doesn't do that much by themselves. Like, I guess on turn 3 they can activate it once. Yep, you're good, Mr. Werewolf. That's another Inquisition. Let's see if they drew any guess. If not, taking Finale's fine. Okay, seeing as how they have nothing going on, I think that means I'm dismembering here. I'm okay to pay the 4 life since I'd probably be taking 4 damage from it anyway. I don't like losing my only removal spell, but when an opponent has 2 lands in hand, they're probably going to spend their next turn cycling the Horizon Canopy. Unless they're the Coco list, then they'll probably try to build up to 4 mana before they start sacking. That's a Giver of Runes. And more lands. Giver of Runes can't protect itself, so if they don't draw another land or another creature, they will attack. Makes sense. That's also giving me the read that they are not on Collected Company, otherwise they'd be trying to build up to 4 mana even without it in hand. And they drew another Windswept Teeth, so... Action? That's a Gary. Gary's action. He can come down next turn. He'll only drain for 2, but being a 2/4 body is mildly relevant on this board. Trying to figure out if I actually want to extirpate on their draw step. So I would probably look at the Horizon Canopy, and honestly, if they spend their turn redrawing, that's fine. Removal spell just turns off the combo, and I'm super on board for that. That is a Shalai. Okay. Giver of Runes is protecting Shalai. Gary actually says each opponent, so it's going to get around the hexproof. This costs 6 to activate. Trying to read into opponent's sequencing here. They must not have any action. Alright, so Gary's going to drain for 4. I can swing in for 2. Let's see what this looks like. Yep, don't want to tap the Giver of Runes. Then a Phyrexian Obliterator will make me drain for 8. That's fine. I think I'd rather just Gary now. Drain for 4 more, put 2 more power on the field. both myself and opponent have had awkward draws, so kind of just getting a little bit of power out there seems acceptable. I'd love to get a draw source, Phyrexian Arena, scrying sheets. Alright, so opponent still thinks attacking with Shalai is correct. Means they either drew another blocker or... Okay, so what do I actually care about the most? Again, I could take Horizon Canopy, it's likely a 4 of. Finale is just a tutor, I think I care about that the most. I'd rather opponent loses 2 life. And also see what's going on in their hand. Post-mortem lunge. Return target creature with converted mana cost X or less from the graveyard to the battlefield. Interesting. Alright. So they have a sorcery speed spell that can reanimate Duskwatch Recruiter. That's worth knowing about. That Collective Brutality is awkward. Can't target anything that matters. If they try to leave Shalai on defense, I can at least drain Shalai for 2. But they're getting really close to being able to activate Shalai to make it a 4/5. Okay, opponent, you're at 3, means you need to start blocking. Giver of Runes will also make it so I can't target Shalai. Didn't even think that far ahead. What did you get? What is your favorite color? Okay, so attacking is officially turned off for the moment. So Shalai can add a 1/1 counter to everything. That means Giver of Runes will survive. They can just give Shalai pro black, and Shalai can kill a Gary. That is a Phyrexian Arena, though. I like drawing cards. So Gary's a live draw. Last Hope is kind of a live draw. I can kill off a Gary, buy it back, and drain for 4. Opponent needs to draw either something that generates 2 creatures for them or take an additional turn. I mean, they could buy back Duskwatch Recruiter. They have Shalai, so they do have an infinite mana payoff. Phyrexian. Oh, okay, so that's just going to tutor. That seems loose. That's instant. They have protection. I guess he picks it back up. That's fair. Picking up Nissa. Why do they want plant tokens? Your stuff has already grown out of reach of me attacking. Alright, Phyrexian Arena, do work. I'd love to draw an extra card. Alright, that's awesome. So, Dead of Winter. Although, let's do it this way. Nykthos, I'd like black equal to my devotion, so I get 6 mana. We can Dead of Winter. Opponent has the Reanimate and a Latimari's Call in hand, so that means Collective Brutality can drain, and that'll be victory number 1. Yeah, it doesn't work like that. Ta-da! Dead of Winter is showing to be quite good. I was really excited when I saw that card. It's a 3-mana conditional board clear. Alright. If they would have taken last turn to put a counter on everything, we actually would not have survived that. That's definitely worth mentioning. Okay, so this hand is a little bit slow, but if it's even a moderately grindy matchup, we're going to take it. I'm not overly excited about playing against a graveyard deck like this, but we do have 4 Leylines, so occasionally we'll see one. Well, thank you, Taco Bolus. I play a lot of Janky Brews, all of them for Squirrel Dealer. I try to play a bunch of random shenanigan-y things. This just ended up being Mono Black Devotion with a little bit of a snow sub-theme. But it's going to put the work in. So like here I get a Gifted Aetherborn into Phyrexian Arena, and this is either Narset Cannon, Neoform, or Old School Humans. Unfortunately, my Urborg is going to turn that into a swamp, but it's the only play I have that lets me Gifted Aetherborn next turn. Actually, if this is Neobrand, well, that's fine. I'm actually going to Collective Brutality and probably pitch the Plague Engineer. No, it's not Burn. Let's just Duress. Take the Neoform, win the game. Fortunately, we don't put up a very fast clock. They can still just draw into it, but... Alright, so Summoner's Pact, Neoform. That just tutors for a creature. Yep, bye Neoform. It is. Alright, they're going looking for an Allosaurus Rider. Found a Wild Cantor. Simian Spirit Guide down. Am I supposed to Plague Engineer this? I think I am. The spice is real. That felt so good. Oh, and that's a Leyline of the Void. So that doesn't actually do anything against this specific deck, but this allows me to Phyrexian Arena this turn, just run out a generic Nykthos, and then I'm going to have next to infinite mana next turn. Because I can Gifted Aetherborn and then Nykthos into a Leyline. That's Gifted Aetherborn, then... How much is this? 5? I just Gifted Aetherborn again. Gary's going to be massive next turn. Assuming we survive until next turn. Discards a Summoner's Pact. Sure, free Inquisition. Opponent is F6, so I can take Pact of Negation, and that should be the game. So that's 8, which means Lily comes down, Gary comes down, and drains for lethal. Bam! Alright, Pithy Needle comes in, can name Grizzlebrand so they can't draw their entire deck. Force of Despair is too slow. Hero's Downfall is too slow. Ashiok, if it actually sticks, can turn off Neoform as well as Summoner's Pact. Fulminator could be cute. I really don't think it's worth it. This is not a Leyline matchup, which means probably just bring in a Fulminator for the value. Extirpate can also... Force is good. You can pitch to it. So, yeah, they can bring it into play, but they're just going to draw with Grizzlebrand and kill me. Or am I not understanding that correctly? They can activate a Grizzlebrand and I can kill it, and then they'll just activate it again and maybe cheese out a win that way? Would that be better then? I guess Dead of Winter? Alright, I could see that argument. This does absolutely nothing productive. What is withdrawing all the colorless lands? I actually should have kept that last one because it had a Pithy Needle and a colorless land. Okay, so Plague Engineer's not very good and Gary's slow. Big Bad Grizzle Daddy. Duress U. Neoform, Eldritch Evolution, Summoner's Pact. So Neoform is the closest to castable in this deck. Summoner's Pact is basically a combo piece. Summoner's Pact can also get rid of one of the worms that they exile for drawing more cards. So that's probably worth grabbing at the moment. Plus if they run anything similar to Rexage. Basic check them, see if it's strip mine. If it is, it's probably just GG. Otherwise, next turn, that means that I get to Urborg and Phyrexian Obliterator. Oh, they're going for it. Allosaurus Rider. I mean, an 8/8 Grizzlebrand is still kind of hard to deal with. It's an 8/8 flyer lifelinker. I'm sorry, opponent. I'm so sorry. Okay, maybe not. You were trying to turn one kill me. Alright. And that is pretty decisive. Let's just shut down Neoform. That's what you want to do with Control, though. Just shut down their game plan, do all the fun stuff. I mean, never didn't have it. Top decking Lily off the top is a pretty good win condition. But we are playing Black Snow Devotion. Dead of Winter was an absolute all-star versus the Devoted Druid deck in Game 1. Liliana was an all-star versus Neoform in Game 2. So was Collective Brutality as a Duress, just took all their combo pieces. Basically playing this, though, because I want to play Phyrexian Obliterator, and because right now the current meta is roughly 33% Graveyard, so we do actually get to run Leyline of the Void for good value for our current strategy. But let's see if it keeps up. Like, definitely had a good run so far. Alright, this is a Collective Brutality on the draw. Might be slightly slow, but it's really flexible, and then hopefully into a Dead of Winter, hoping that's relevant. If not, a Lily should be able to keep him at bay. This might be a greedy keep. Looks like we're playing against either Grizzlebrand again, or Spirits or Humans. Alright, maybe Infect. Fastline and Serum Visions typically means that you're trying to play something with lower converted mana cost, and in those colors, Gallop Infect is kind of a common deck. This could potentially just be Summoner's Pact for Allosaurus and die. Oh, they just had it. Feeling Edge of Autumn and Noxious Revival. There's the Eldritch Evolution. I'm going to F6 to see if we die here. We got the Giant Worm and a Nourishing Shoal. Alright, that's good enough. Alright, so last time we took out all the ley lines, all the fatal pushes, put in Pithy Needles, Ashiok, a couple of Fulminators just for value, and I don't know, maybe just the other Fulminator. Yeah, on the plus side, if we play this deck multiple times, it should be pretty quick. Single land's not going to cut it. This is fine. Hopefully Inquisition take their only combo piece. Also have Force of Despair if they actually go for it. Dead of Winter's kind of bad. I probably should have taken out Dead of Winter. Alright, opponent's currently on 6 cards. Oh no, they haven't mulliganed yet. We went to 6. Still determining if they can kill us with that hand. So at this point, I really hope they keep it because they really thought that they needed something, and we have discard. Put a card to the bottom. That's going to be Dead of Winter. Alright, that is a Leyline of Sanctity. That hurts. Opponent, you get black now. Mono black doesn't really have an answer for Leyline. It's just painful. The reprint also made it cheaper. Land? Not a land. Alright, well, opponent might be taking this one, although that's not typically what you see when they're going to take it. So I can Lily start taxing their hand. That's probably appropriate given the fact that Allosaurus requires a number of cards in hand. Chancellor of the Tangle. Oh, that was a bad draw. Love to find a Pithy Needle. Like, that'd just be great deck. I do also need to start getting a clock running, so if I find a land, Obliterator. If not, Phyrexian Arena to find a land for Obliterator seems pretty appropriate. Probably discarding this Collective Brutality. It's just dead with the Leyline out. Got rid of a Simian Spirit Guide. So that likely means that they're missing a Summoner's Pact or an Allosaurus Rider to go off. Or potentially they have Eldritch Evolution, not Neoform. Don't want to lose the creature to Lily. There's my swamps. I want to keep the Phyrexian Arena in hand in case I need a Force of Despair. If we draw a Gary, I'll be sad, but you gotta do what you gotta do. Alright, one win condition down. There's the Allosaurus Rider. It gets cast. There's the Eldritch Evolution. I didn't have an opportunity to force before they got priority to do that, which means this is when I Force of Despair. They'll draw 7 again, and then because they've lost a little bit of life, they won't be able to draw another 7, so if the 7 whiffs, we're good. They could potentially combo again next turn, but also be putting them to 1 with the Phyrexian Obliterator. Although they Summoner's Pact, so we should actually just win on their upkeep. Unless they draw into his Simian Spirit Guide. Although that just took that line out. That cycle there looked really desperate. I think that means they can't go off. Alright. Ta-da! Does this mean anything? Discard gets significantly worse. I think we're just running it back. I guess I could value Extirpate over Collective Brutality, but if they don't have Leyline, we can just pick their hand apart, so that seems fine. This hand is not interactive. Yeah, that Dead of Winter is just awful. Maybe should have put Dead of Winter out for Extirpate. This is no colored mana. Yeah, Bradwan, I was a little slow on that. Okay, well, this is a clock. Hopefully they don't have a lot going on for them. We can put both Garys to the bottom since I won't have mana for it. Opponent kept their 7 with a Leyline. Yeah, not looking great. Oh, wow, they just get to go for it. Okay, so I think we're on the check to see if they whiff on the 1% they whiff. As soon as they gain like 15 life, I'll concede. Yeah, hard to interact with, but what can you do? They had Leyline of Sanctity post-board both games. We even won through the second game. Okay, Nourishing Shoal for 7 means they can still whiff. Which means I have to top deck a Lily in the next 2 turns and hope that they can't combo kill me the following turn. They will lose a lot of cards in their hand, so that might not work. Cycling with Edge of Autumn. Oh, they Summoner's Pact. Yeah, if they can't kill me here, then they lose, so we'll see. Did you whiff, Mr. Opponent? Fun engaging magic. I played a land. Should have realized I was going to see more of this deck with London Mulligans coming back. Oh, we probably should have played Narset Cannon. Okay, with how long opponent's tanking, I'm assuming they didn't hit it. That is 2 Nourishing Shoals down. Maybe I wanted to extirpate just for Nourishing Shoals, so after the first one I could take the second one. Alright. Well, they're exiling Allosaurus Riders and Chancellor, so we still might not be dead. Apparently no giant worms yet. Guess another Noxious Revival would probably be okay. They'd only go down to one. Okay, probably should have done that before you exiled the Chancellor. Manamorphose looking for the last Nourishing Shoal. I mean, if somebody in chat is telling me I'm deterministically dead, I'm happy to scoop here, but it looks like they didn't hit their last Nourishing Shoal, so they're going to fizzle and have to pay for 2 Summoners packs. I mean, when you're cycling Edge of Autumn to just draw an extra card to try to draw into another piece of action, I can't imagine that you're about to win. They have 27 cards in hand. They look like they're just frantically trying to figure out what the win is from here. All right, and they scoop it up. So I don't think we deserve that one, but I'll go ahead and move it up to 3-0. Currently, Snow Devotion is actually kind of putting up a real fight here. To be fair, we just played against 2 combo decks and we have discard, so actually we played against 3 discard decks. Did learn though. It's not a mistake if you learn from it. You're supposed to bring in Extirpate because Nourishing Shoal hits the yard. The creature that they exile doesn't, but you can take away all the Nourishing Shoals and they'll fizzle, hopefully with the Summoner's Pact on the stack. Sorry, as a replacement effect for upkeep, whatever that is. All right, well, while we're looking for our last match, is there anything that I've noticed so far? I think Phyrexian Obliterator, 3 of might be the sweet spot. I know a lot of these lists are casual and they're trying to jam 4. Leyline of the Void main board actually seems like it works. And I'm actually sorry, I need to go off mic for a second. I'll be back in probably about 3 minutes. Apologies about that. The dog needed something and could not do that on mic. So, let's go back to the deck tech. So far, I do think the fourth Phyrexian Obliterator might be greedy. It is a casual card we're trying to jam for funsies. Ashiok actually might be correct over Leyline of the Void. We are playing it because about 33% of the meta right now is Arclight Phoenix or Hogok. Starting with it in the battlefield, giving us devotion, taking away their yard, buying us a little bit of time if they do utilize it. Seems pretty fair, but Ashiok has a similar effect, adds 2 devotion, and is a static ability. You do have to figure out how to protect her. Gifted Aetherborn's probably not good enough for that. Old versions of this deck had Bloodghast in it. I don't think Bloodghast is correct. We are trying to be Planeswalker E-control and try to get card advantage, so that's probably not the most correct. Well, we did get our next match. I think I also might want the fourth Collective Brutality, especially if I'm trying to stick ley lines. It doesn't add to devotion, but it's a really powerful, flexible card. Lets us pitch anything that we don't care about. Wow, and this colored mana. We have been having issues getting colored mana here. All right, being on the draw, this hand is actually pretty good. We're going to tuck one of the extra ley lines. Yay, London Mulligan. Start with the ley line in play. Then hopefully draw into an Urborg Island. Hey, look at that. Now I'd like to draw into a Nykthos. Although early interaction wouldn't be bad either. Collective Brutality can cover a lot of bases for us. Is this turns? This is looking like turns. Island makes me think that they're spell-based. Field of Ruin means that they're trying to go long, so this is actually probably blue-white. Alright. They're also playing slow. I don't know if that's because of my ley line or because they just don't have a very good starting hand. The Opt put a card to the bottom, so they are fishing for their lands. I'm just going to slam Plague Engineer to get our devotion count up and see if they have a remand. And then what I'm actually going to do here is name Human. Human would kill all Snapcaster mages that enter the battlefield. Wizard would actually kill that too, I believe. Yeah, he's a wizard. I'm going to name Wizard. It'll kill Snapcaster if they're on blue-white, or if they're on just like a really awkward list of blue-red wizards. That should take it. I feel like they're missing a mountain. That's the vibe that I'm getting. That should also make Goblin Electromancer less good. Logic not. Okay, so they are a fair control list. So what I want to do is just swing in with Plague Engineer, see if they're going to do anything. If for some reason they're on Grixis, this Urborg's going to mana fix them with the Field of Ruin. Scrying Cheats is actually going to be better than Urborg just because it will let us draw cards and actually win the long game. But do you actually have something? Alright. We might have a game. Grey Merchant currently draining for 9. Attacking for 7. Oh yeah, this is looking pretty good. And opponent just scoops it up. So I know that some people talk about playing decks that are fun to play but don't have the best win ratio. Phyrexian Obliterator is a feel-bad card because almost any time he actually sticks, you never get to do anything with him. Because they always concede. Alright, well, Control. I am not a fan of Graveyard Hate versus Control. Blue-White is just running main board rest in pieces, like they just don't care. Fulminator is a threat that also takes care of a land, also takes care of a colonnade if they're on the tempo plan. I didn't even stop for a second to describe this. Hero's Downfall was a Theros block all-star. It will destroy target planeswalker. I'm expecting at least Little Teferi. Odds are they have Big Teferi, Jace, Narset, any number of those. Dead of Winter, board clears get bad. Ashiok can actually try to get us some advantage off their fetch lands. Typically, it's whoever makes more land drops wins in these type of scenarios. Pithing Needle's coming in for the Planeswalkers or potentially Field of Ruin / Colonnade. Plague Engineer's not the best. Fatal Push can hit Colonnades, but it's not great. I'm actually probably looking at doing this. I don't think they have a creature I care about. Lyra actually might be coming in. Let's take out a push. I could have sworn I had another... I must have trimmed it. I thought I had another Phyrexian Arena on the board. Phyrexian Arena is one of our best cards in this matchup. So I'm treating this like blue-white. If it's not blue-white, then that's on me, but we did steal game 1 from Mana Screw, so... Man, we have 2 Scrying Sheets, 2 Urborgs, a Gary with no devotion, and a Pithy Needle in the dark. Yeah, I can't keep this. I wanted to keep it. I like the Scrying Sheets. We will keep this. It has discard. You can get rid of the Fatal Push because it's not going to be relevant for a while. Hi, Colonnade. Let's see what you got. Detention Sphere and Cryptics. Man, I almost put Cabal Therapist in this deck. I almost did it, but I'm like, I have no creatures I want to sacrifice. But it's a 1-drop. It adds devotion. Don't crack it. Aha! Alright, so this is land destruction. I don't know what planeswalkers they're running. I could have named Colonnade if they cracked the Flooded Strand, but this is just to shut off their land, get us a little ahead on value. If they get to the point that they want a Cryptic, it's going to be like significantly too slow, and this actually means that I'll be able to jam Ashiok well before they can do anything. Opponent has 1 unknown card. Did you keep Logic Knot? Alright. The Flooded Strand name might have been loose. Oh, look at that. We even got Baby Teferi. Just because we did have Ashiok coming down, that would have shut it off, but now opponent can't untap and Cryptic us. Alright, that's Gary coming down. And I'm activating Ashiok here just because I feel like it is relevant if I can get rid of all their bombs. Like, look at that. I got Teferi and Narset. They also kept in their board clears. Ashiok's going to die now. That probably could have been a consideration. I would have expected Detention Sphere before the 1 of V-Click, though. This is anywhere between 2 to 3 in a deck. Alright, well that kills V-Click pretty nicely. Especially if they don't hit their land drop. And that is a Wizard, so Wizard was the correct name in game 1. Oh, that's rough. So I can Plague Engineer and kill the V-Click, or I can just Plague Engineer, call Monk. Alternatively, just Heroes Down, fall the V-Click, or the Mentor, and then get the Wizard. Yeah, I don't want them to be able to bounce my Plague Engineer and just go off with tokens. And I shouldn't have waited until their upkeep. I know they have 2 Cryptics versus could potentially have a Force of Negation. Hi, Rector. How's it going? I was really hoping for a bait card. I need to try to kill this V-Click, and I suppose getting rid of the Cryptic for a Plague Engineer is a fine trade. This means I'm falling so far behind, though. Yep. Cryptic command successful. I really misplayed this game. Little Teferi. Opponent wants their lands. Alright. I can respect that. But that means that I get Colonnade. So I'm not going to name Baby Teferi because I actually do want to get rid of this. I do have a couple of instances in my deck that I care about. And honestly, them casting Serum Vision's instant speed isn't something I particularly care about. So we're going to name Colonnade just so that we can survive a little bit longer. Then, sure, we won't have cards in hand. No reason to tap the Nykthos. Get a drain for 2, put a threat on the table. One that can get around V-Click. I mean, honestly, another land is kind of okay. It's not the best, but we got the ETB effect. And they did bring in an Angel. Alright, so Dismember was a good call. They have a lot of creatures, though. I'm thinking I actually probably should bring back in the Dead of Winter. I'm doing this more to thin my deck than anything. I guess I should have waited until their draw step. That would have been more correct. Just in case they only had one basic left and they drew it, it would have shut it off. Field of Ruin actively not doing very much against the 18 basic land deck. Sorry, 14. I actually have to keep this in hand. They still have another Cryptic I know about, plus odds are they have like a Logic Knot. I need another threat to run out in front of this Phyrexian Arena so that this can try to... Oh, never mind, I'm just dead. We're good. Too busy trying to count my lands. So Dead of Winter's coming in, especially knowing that they're on Mentor. Plague Engineer loses a little bit of value. I can still name Wizard, although it looks like they took out all their Snapcaster mages. Phyrexian Obliterator still pretty cute. Hero's Downfall is still relevant. Collective Brutality still kills a Mentor that's tapped out. A V-Click. Gifted Aetherborn's probably bad. It's an early clock, but they kept in at least 3 board clears. Yeah, I'll take out the Aetherborns. Hurts our devotion plan a little bit. Do I actually want... Actually, I do want Knight of Souls Betrayal, so this will kill all the Monk tokens as well as V-Click. Lily's still probably my best card, and we never saw one. I don't think Force of Despair is relevant enough, especially if they took out their Snapcasters, ley lines out. Fatal Push can still snag a lot of what they have, but I think I'd still prefer the Inquisition. Alright. Well, we moved to 1-1, which is sad because I think that they're actually favored in this matchup. They're a real control list where we're just a pile of black fun cards. And this is a pile of black fun cards that actually do something. So again, discard 2 cards, hopefully draw a land, run out of Liliana, and then probably just win the game. If they do end up jamming something we care about like Mentor that can be protected from Lily, then we can just Dead of Winter it. Okay, so board clear, Mentor, Path. I don't have any creatures, so it's definitely going to be the Mentor here. They have 3 lands. They don't have double white yet. And that means that my second Inquisition's probably going to whiff. Should be an island, and then if they have opt, they'll just opt in response, so shouldn't cast the Inquisition. And a 4-drop enchantment. Not what you want to see. Come on, deck. If you want us to 5-0, you have to give us a land this turn. I wholeheartedly believe that. There we go. So what are the odds I get Logic Knotted here? Opponent's seen 2 fresh cards. Lily's probably just the best. I could run out Ashiok if I'm expecting counter magic, but I think I need to get out Lily as a chance to win. Nope, they got Mana Leak. Alright. Well, that's an egg on my face moment. I fully expected it. It wasn't correct to Inquisition there. but it was probably correct to Ashiok. Ashiok would have shut off future fetch lands, would have shut off this Field of Ruin if we ran out of non-basic at any point in time. Let's try this again. In case they have Logic Knot, I am milling. I think I'll stay at 4 this time, though. Okay. That's fine. This is fine. Alright, deck, if I could literally just make any request here, it would probably be a Phyrexian Arena, but I suppose it's not going to happen. I kind of don't mind if this gets countered. I guess Plague Engineer would have been a better lead here, but it can start getting some damage in. If I start expecting a Cryptic Command, I can just blow a land. That's the Baneslayer. Well, seeing as how I can't attack, definitely doing it now. That was probably a mistake. I knew they had it. Field of Ruin. So if I Knight of Soul's Betrayal here, then I can Inquisition, try to take out a Logic Knot, and then Dead of Winter. If I hit a land. Plague Engineer named Angels is terrible. Alright, let's see if this works. Worst case, I take the path. Okay, that works. Because this is the kill spell. I should have left up black. I don't have anything now, but it is most correct. Okay, we'll need to kill that. Found a Force of Negation. Dead of Winter. So, Field of Ruin you off of white. They float the white for the Path to Exile I'm aware of, which means we go to main 2. And Plague Engineer. They still get to path it, but... And Wizard is the right call. We know about the Vendilion Click, and it's very possible that they have Snapcaster Mage. So they must be planning to Wrath me? Oh, they find a Jace. Jace Bounce is also okay. They would have exposed their Narset to dying here, so I don't know how correct that is. Okay, so I just get to kill Narset? Does that mean they have another one? So they haven't used the path yet. They haven't used the Wrath. Field of Ruin's down. Island's down. Jace is down. Guess they have 4 cards I don't know about. Urborg will give them a shuffle target for Field of Ruin, so that can't come down. And so far behind at this point. Really needed like a Liliana of the Veil there. Actually give me something to keep up with their Planeswalker. Oh, hey Marin Moon. Thank you very much for the host. We're playing a little bit of Mono Black Devotion with Snow. This game's not going great. In fact, we're probably scooping it up here, but we've had a pretty good record so far. If you'd like to check out the deck list, it's on the side. Also using Stream Viewer, or Stream Decker. You can type in deck list, get a link. Phyrexian Obliterator will just get tucked. Yeah, let's just go on to the next game. This isn't very compelling, and we fell very far behind. So we ended up beating Neoform twice. We ended up beating Devoted Druid combo, and then just lost to Blue-White Control because they are a stronger control deck. Like, not much there. Appreciate it very much. I've been doing content for about 6 months now. Just a ton of janky decks, 3 a week. So really nice to get a couple more eyes on it. Really been trying to get it moving forward. Yeah, Mono Black Devotion it's actually doing better than I was expecting it to do. Like, we end up getting the strong black protection spells. Dead of Winter is actually just a fantastic card. But, of course, we're jamming Phyrexian Obliterator because of the casual appeal. Just fun card altogether. Unfortunately, everybody sees it in scoops, so haven't had too much. I'm actually using it from Squirrel Dealer. So we have a site, and we do a lot of stuff through it, so like I can log in. Oh, incognito? Bad. Let's do this. So like if I go to any of my decks when I'm logged in, I actually get the ability to actually look at the overlay and do deck views and stuff like that. So I'm using Streamlabs, but Stream Decker does something pretty similar to it. So I like this hand. It gets a lot of my devotion up. Nykthos is a super fantastic draw. We have a little bit of interaction. We're going to shut off the graveyard. Stream Decker does have a pop-out function. I know MTG Goldfish has one as well, but I kind of wanted to build my own. Yep. So we are running 4 Leylines' main deck. The reason for that is right now about 33% of the field is either Arclight Phoenix or Hogak. So this will shut down about a third of the decks just for being there. And then it also adds 2 Black Devotion to our deck. Blue-Black makes me think that this is probably a control list. Okay, so this was probably an off-color fetch for Phoenix. They didn't want me to see what they were doing, and I shut down their graveyard, which means they can't interact. So to me, that means Extirpate definitely needs to come in, and I probably don't want to change my list too much. I kind of want to just plan that they're Phoenix, which means I probably just need to get rid of something on the top end and probably just a generic card that's going to get flipped by Thing in the Ice. Not seeing anything other than a Polluted Delta and knowing that they're a graveyard strategy means we're probably just going to ship it back and look for a ley line. Alright, well, this isn't technically a graveyard hate hand, but we have our devotion, we have powerful cards, so I'll give it a shot. If this is Phoenix, I just get eat all the Phoenixes and hopefully kill a Thing in the Ice and extirpate it. Okay, this is looking a little bit more like Hogak. It's just a Crypt Breaker. Mildly confused on what's going on. If this is zombies, then Dead of Winter is going to be fantastic. Assuming that this has to be something close to Saffron Olive zombie list. Polluted Delta was an off-color fetch. Is this just Jund Death Shadow? They got 2 swamps. Expecting a discard creature, probably a Vengevine. That's a Bloodghast. Okay, that's fine. Dead of Winter is looking pretty good. Extirpate here is going to grab Bloodghast. We can see exactly what's going on. Split Second means that they can't crack their fetch in response. So this is Vengevine. This is old school Vengevine for the most part. No, it's pretty current. All right, well, that's taking game 1 is pretty fantastic. We're going to take the screenshot. They have 2. Honestly, not a lot. So opponent's hand is currently a Carrion Feeder and a Crypt Breaker. Hopefully they run out the Carrion Feeder, and then we can Dead of Winter next turn. Clear the board. Opponent is looking to discard the Blood Crypt, more than likely, for the Carrion Feeder. Oops. Oh, main 1. We'll just do it in main 2. Dead of Winter should kill everything here. Oh, that was a misplay. So, by not running out... Never mind, Urborg doesn't deal snow. They can technically sack both creatures and Carrion Feeder will survive here. But if they do, I can hopefully untap and extirpate the Crypt Breaker. Nah, that's not going to work. They'll play the other one. Opponent's hand is currently Crypt Breaker, Neonate, Blood Crypt. Yep, that's unfortunate. I didn't think through that line very well. So I think I'm hoping to draw a Fatal Push here. There's the other Blood Crypt, so now I don't know opponent's hand. Scrying Sheets is interesting. Liliana Plus is going to make them get rid of their last card. I'm kind of getting the read it's a Hogak at this point. I'm currently looking at taking 5 damage on the table. Liliana minus will just make them sack the Neonate. Liliana will die. I'll take 1. Phyrexian Arena, I take 5, draw an extra card, leave up Extirpate. Then hopefully draw into another Dead of Winter, or at least a Fatal Push. Yeah, that's probably the best line here. It's mildly greedy, but I need to draw into something that's not currently in my hand, so 2 draws is going to be best output for it. Opponent could potentially draw into an Altar, Bridge from Below, Nature's Claim. Alright, going to 10. That's Brutality. I don't think Brutality actually fixes anything. So they're going to try to discard with Crypt Breaker. That's why they didn't attack. So I can collect a Brutality, kill Crypt Breaker. They'll make a zombie token. Lily make them sack said token. Gary's currently draining for 4. So if they have Nature's Claim, they probably would have fired it off. They could potentially have a Vengevine, and they're trying to set up for it. They could potentially have a Hogak, although that probably would have come down. They had the mana for it. No, they wouldn't. They would have had to have discarded a card. Yeah, so if they have a Hogak, it's still stuck in hand. Let's see here. Collective Brutality, target the Neonate. They'll just sack it, discard something. I think we're on Drain because our life total is getting a little low, and kill the Crypt Breaker. See what's going on up there. Discard the... I really don't want to discard Lily. Alright, Scrying Sheets. Game's going to be a little too fast for you to do anything, buddy. Alright, they drew another Marsh Flats. Opponent said oops. Not sure why. This means they're probably sending the zombie at Lily and 3 at me. They leave Lily alive. Gary's just going to drain for more and I'll be a happy person. Yeah. Okay. Good draws. Not good draws. So I can Inquisition. They don't really have a discard outlet at the moment. I can just Gary, get a blocker, gain life. Alright, Gary, gain some life. Next turn, Gary should be lethal. I like that. I like that a lot. Not blocking. This was setting up so that if I blocked, they could use Carrion Feeder to sack the zombie and kill Gary, but instead, just get lethal out of nowhere. We even got the Plague Engineer for the zombies. Actually, so what's more correct here is for me to Inquisition and see if they have anything that can interact with Gary. Okay, I'll help with a bridge from below. And that should be the last of it. Boom! So, Leyline main board is fantastic for taking out Hogok. Let's just say that. Well, we won some prizes, so let's go ahead and open them. 25 play points. That's a little bit on the low side, but yeah, I mean, we got a breeding pool. Got our entry back. We fed the kids. Went 4-1 with Black Snow. So let's go ahead and take a look at the deck view. I kind of started going over this before the fourth match. So this deck was actually significantly better than I wanted to give it credit for. Leyline main board is the main reason we ended up taking a lot of games. Dead of Winter is a 3-mana board clear, which in Modern is exactly the turn that you need it. We ended up blowing out the Devoted Druid deck when we cast it on turn 3. I think we cast it turn 3. We might have missed a land drop, but they just committed to the board. We ended up sweeping everything for 3 and took the win. I think the mana base has some issues. We had a couple of games where we drew colorless sources. The 2 Urborgs maybe need to be 3 if we're going to be running this number. We never actually got to use the scrying sheets as a card advantage engine, so not sure how to feel about that. Dead of Winter's not actually snow, so you're only looking for more snow lands, but given the fact that Dead of Winter cares about scrying sheets being a snow land is probably enough reason to run it. Lily's just a powerhouse. She's great anytime that you can play her. Overall, a lot of really powerful cards, so it's not super budget, but they were fun cards, and Phyrexian Obliterator was kind of just a meme. Every time we slammed him, we ended up winning. Any questions from you guys? I'm probably going to look for another stream to raid at this point, just because we actually have a decent number of people. Let's see. Anybody playing anything fun? Probably want to keep in Modern. Ooh, Abzan Worship Lock, Fluffy Wolf. Let's go ahead and do that. All right, well, thanks everybody. Feel free to check out squirreldealer.com, our YouTube channel, or feel free to reach out to me directly. And yeah, we do a bunch of fun decks. We do at least 3 fun streams a week. My buddy Brad Wan does competitive decks. Feel free to just check out the Squirrel Dealer staff channel, and we're always hosting, and enjoy Fluffy Wolf. Have a good one, everyone.